There are moments in every life when we stand, almost motionless, at the intersection of possibility and uncertainty. Perhaps you are here now, feeling the weight of indecision pressing upon your chest, a sense of being stuck, hemmed in by routine or fear, yet keenly aware that countless paths unfold before you, unbound and untrod. Each path is a silent invitation. A new career beckons with the promise of reinvention. Another shimmers with the hope of answers to questions that have haunted your nights. Yet another whispers of self-discovery, of coming face to face with the person you truly are. Where then do you turn? What do you do when the future is a forest of roads and you must choose but one? As we contemplate this moment of choice, it is impossible not to recall Robert Frost's immortal poem, The Road Not Taken. Frost writes with poignant simplicity of a traveler confronted by two diverging roads, neither well-marked nor obviously superior. The traveler states, "Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth." How familiar this feeling is. The searching gaze, the longing to know what lies beyond each bend, the ache of uncertainty. Frost Traveler ultimately chooses the road less traveled by, and reflecting in the twilight of life, declares, "And that has made all the difference." But Frost's poem is more complex than mere celebration, non-conformity. It is a meditation on choice itself, the beauty and pain of moments when our lives hinge on a single decision, when we become, in a sense, both the author and the reader of our own stories. To feel stuck is not simply to be unmoving. It is to be caught in a web of questions. What if I choose wrongly? What if my leap leads only to disappointment? What if the path I take asks more of me than I have to give? In these moments, the world feels smaller, possibilities seem distant, and the familiar, however unsatisfying, appears safer than the unknown. Yet within this stasis, there is a quiet invitation. Inertia is not only a signal of fear, but an opportunity for reflection. You're being asked by your own soul to pause and consider, what is it that calls to me most? What am I yearning for? Not what others expect, but what I truly seek. Imagine now the scene before you. The forest floor dappled in sunlight, each path winding away into the unknown. One path might be a new career, its challenges daunting, yet glittering with the promise of growth, transformation. Another may hold the answer to something you have long sought, an explanation, a piece of closure, a chance to finally lay down the burdens of your past. Yet another path might lead you to yourself, stripped of pretense, radiant in authenticity. You do not have to know where each path leads. The truth, as Frost suggests, is that no traveler can peer too far into the future. Each road, whether well-worn or wild, hides its twists in the undergrowth. The courage lies not in perfect certainty, but in the willingness to step forward. How do you choose then, when all the paths before you are unbound, and each calls to you in a different tongue? The answer, difficult yet profound, is that the most important voice is your own. Listen for the quiet pull, the flutter in your chest, the spark of hope or longing, the sense of peace that settles over you when you imagine one path or another. There may be pressure to take the safe road, the one mapped by others. There may be fear that taking the less traveled path is naive or reckless. But recall Frost's traveler, who stands alone in the woods and chooses from the heart, not the crowd. The road that calls to you most is not necessarily the easiest, nor the most logical. It is the one that aligns in some mysterious way with the contours of your spirit. It takes courage to choose, to move from the stuckness of indecision into the momentum of action. Courage is not an absence of fear, but the quiet persistence to act in spite of it. It is the trust that even if the outcome is uncertain, the act of choosing is itself transformative. You may fear regret, you may worry about the roads left unexplored. But life is not a map marked with right and wrong turns. It is a journey shaped by the integrity and hope with which you walk. The courage to choose is what makes all the difference. It is what animates your story, what turns moments of paralysis into possibility. No path will be free of difficulty, and no choice immune to longing for what might have been. But as you walk, you will discover views you could not have imagined, friendships, opportunities, answers, and revelations that unfold only because you dared to move. Sometimes you will stumble, and sometimes you will soar. But every step will teach you something about the world and about yourself. Frost's closing lines remind us that we will look back and tell our story with a sigh, not necessarily of regret, but of recognition that our lives are shaped not by fate, but by the roads we choose to walk. Let your story be one of courage, of listening to the path that calls, and of loving the journey wherever it leads. If you're standing at the crossroads now, feeling stuck and uncertain, give yourself permission to dream. Allow yourself to imagine the life that might await you if you step onto the path that beckons. If a new career calls, honor your ambition. If answers call, honor your curiosity. If self-discovery calls, honor your truth. Take heart. The world is full of people who have stood where you stand, who have faced the crossroads trembling and unsure, and who have found through courage the resilience to begin. You are not alone. Your willingness to choose is a gift, both to yourself and to the world. For it is in each person's courage that new roads are made. Standing at the crossroads, you possess the power to shape your story. The unbound paths ahead are neither threats nor burdens, but opportunities shimmering with possibility. The road you choose may not always be easy, but it will be yours. It will reflect your hopes, your longings, and your most authentic self.